Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I thank my colleagues. Senator Kim.
Yeah, thank you.
These are your first questions.
That's right. Thank you. No, now the pressure's on. But thanks so much, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Ranking Member, for letting me be a part of this. And thank you to the two of you and your families for joining up here. I just last week I was able to have my family be able to be up here as I came into this body, so I know how important that is. Mr. Coughlin, I think I'd like to start with you. I mean, you just had this discussion about Section 337. You've had an extensive, litigation, well, extensive experience litigating this. I guess I'd like to just ask you, I think a part of this is the work that we do, but also how we articulate this to the American people about the work that we do. So, I'll be honest with you, a lot of people in my home state don't necessarily know all the intricacies of these different things. So I guess I always say, it's important for us to learn how to speak human about this and be able to articulate that. So if you don't mind just kind of explaining, what is the rationale for Section 337? What is the benefit that it can provide to the American people to have that kind of tool at our disposal?
Sure. Thank you for that question, Senator, and I'll try and keep it brief. The answer is that, so obviously we have intellectual property laws and things like patents and trademarks and copyrights to create an incentive for people to invent. We see in situations in other countries, say like China, where they did not have strong IP laws, that they didn't really have any innovation because there was no motivation to do anything. If you created something, someone would just steal your idea. So we have that desire on the one hand to have strong IP rights to create an incentive. On the other hand, we also have consumers and folks in the United States who, we want them to pay as low a price, we want to have a lower price as we can for consumers. And so that's really the balance of 337. And so when I worked there, for example, as a staff attorney, we would be balancing, on the one hand, the intellectual property right owners' right to protect his creation, his invention, create incentive, versus on the other hand, we don't want to enforce IP rights that are actually not valid, because then it just drives up price for consumers. So as simple as I can explain it, when I was at the commission, it's like, is this IP right? Is it valid? In which case, we want to enforce it, versus actually, is it not? And then we want to have more competition so that prices come down. And
one thing I appreciate as I was reviewing some of your previous work is talking about the need for speed in terms of how the ITC operates. Can you go into a little bit more greater detail in terms of why you think that speed is so important in terms of adjudicating this quickly?
Sure, absolutely. So in a nutshell, you could also file a complaint in district court if you want to enforce your IP rights. But of course, the district courts have a lot of other cases and things going on, and so generally speaking, they don't move as quickly as one might hope. And if you have a domestic industry, if I've had clients who have come up with a new product, but if they don't get a remedy and keep the infringing import out of the U.S., they could go out of business by the time the case runs its way through a district court. And that's why the commission has these tight deadlines and why everyone's trying to move so quickly, because we know that if we don't act fast and there are infringing imports coming into the U.S., if we don't get a quick remedy, then people are going to lose jobs, companies are going to go bankrupt.
Ms. Craig, I'd like to just pivot to you here. I really appreciated in your testimony, you talked about your deep respect for the independent, neutral mission of the ITC. Can you explain a little bit more why that is so critical and why that needs to be protected?
Senator, it's really critical that Americans can trust in their institutions, and in particular with the ITC. It is an agency that since 1916 has been able to maintain a stellar reputation for being nonpartisan and objective. If you are a litigant before the ITC, regardless if you're the respondent or the petitioner, you are spending a lot of time and money to be there. It is very important that you feel that you are getting a fair shake by every commissioner that is sitting at the hearing, and that the commission is asking smart questions and weighing all the evidence and creating a full a full docket of evidence in order to make a decision on the facts of the case.
So, I mean, I think that's important, especially at a time right now when we see such great distrust in government and needing to try to restore that sense. And, I appreciate the ranking member's comments earlier about, when we're talking about tariffs here, about making sure we find out what it is that's going to be proposed. And, I certainly agree with that. But I guess I just want to ask the two of you here at the close here, when we do find out about what the proposal is and where we're going when it comes to tariffs and the use of it, can you confirm that if you're on ITC that this is something that you will look into and give us your independent, nonpartisan view and expert opinion on what the effects would be?
Absolutely, absolutely. An independent, unbiased, based on the facts and the record view. Absolutely.
Ms. Craig?
Yes, Senator. If confirmed, I'll respond to requests from Congress in a timely manner and provide you any data and information you need.
Thank you so much. I yield back.
Thank my colleagues.